So earlier, I announced the launch of my Chrome extension, Web Access Pro, and some of you as business owners may not really know whether this is something that you need for your business. And what my Chrome extension does is it basically scans your websites, your funnels, your landing pages, anything that you might have on the web to make sure that you're compliant with current accessibility standards. And what does that mean? Basically, people with disabilities often use different technology to navigate the web, and many websites are not ready to work with these technologies. And as a result, there's a significant amount of people who aren't able to access any of the content on your website because you're not taking the time to make your website available to them by making it compliant with these standards. It's just something that I think many business owners are just not educated about, and even many designers and web developers who are building your websites are not cognizant of. And so this app will help them to know whether your pages are actually compliant. And if you're not compliant, that means that you can actually be sued by someone with disabilities who happens on your site and is unable to navigate it. They can actually, in the United States, file an ADA, Americans with Disabilities lawsuit against you. And you may be familiar with the ADA when, in terms of brick and mortar stores, where if there's not proper ramps or wide doorways that make it difficult for people in wheelchairs to access that business, that they can be sued. Well, it's basically the same for a digital website or digital landing page or anything like that, because the ADA was applied to the internet in 2010. So just like business owners such as restaurants would be required to make sure that people with disabilities are able to access their business, people on the web need to make sure that people with disabilities can access their business. And enforcement is ramping up. That's resulting in a lot of small business owners having to deal with getting what they call demand letters, where you'll be notified, for instance, that your digital landing page or website is not compliant. And if you don't do something about it, then you're going to be sued or you might face a fine. And for many small businesses, this can be a financial hardship that's significant to you because ADA lawsuits are very expensive. Now, the reason I made this Chrome extension was primarily for other web developers and other web designers to help them speed up their work so that they can fix the code of the site. As a small business owner, you may want to buy the Chrome extension that I made if you have a development team so that they can make sure that what they're building for you is compliant with current standards, because you don't want to be someone who isn't making your website up to what is necessary for legal standards at this time. Now, let's say you don't know any code and you don't have someone that knows code that's building your websites or landing pages. Maybe you're using a visual builder, maybe you're using a funnel program like ClickFunnels. Now, that's a different question, but there are, for example, ways to make those programs accessible, like that you're following standards. And for small business owners, I do know of different solutions you can use to make your sites accessible if my Chrome extension isn't appropriate for you because you're not someone who codes or uses someone who codes your website. Feel free to reach out to me. And, for this week, I do things like accessibility audits. And basically, if you reach out to me, I can, do an assessment of what you're building online and making sure it's compliant, or let you know where it's deficient so that you can have it fixed. If you reach out to me this week, I'm happy to do an accessibility audit for you, without charge, which I usually do when I do an accessibility audit, just to, get people in the group more knowledgeable about what's going on and what they should expect to do with their websites and with their landing pages and with their funnels. Because for me, this is something that I want to help people with disabilities to navigate the web. I want the web to be more inclusive. So this is why I focus on creating this technology and helping my fellow designers and developers make this job a little easier for them so that we can fix this problem. Because it is, to me, appalling that 98% of sites were not compliant in 2020. And, we need to do better for the community of those with disabilities and make sure our content is available to them. Presented by Designers learn code.